All right, so we did what was required to get the order ticket set up. We have the initial order ticket here. We have the bracket order ticket for exit here. These are sales. This is a buy. This order sends order ticket, connects the order ticket to the bracket order ticket. And then we have a replace order ticket that we can now connect to any one of the orders that we want to replace the. So essentially what we're looking at to do is replace the stop. So we want to replace the stop when a certain condition is met and replace the stop with maybe a trailing ticket or just some other ticket. So now we need to consider how we want to either tag or change the conditions. So I've got to kind of come up with that. And from there, I will be able to come up with the next step. So I think, so the idea that I have, and I don't know if it'll work, but the idea that I have is whenever I put in such order, whenever I put in this order here, I want it to, based on certain criteria of the entry. All right, so this is our entry here, but based on certain criteria of the entry, I want to tag these orders to say it's okay to trail these stops when conditions are met. So that's what I've got to figure out, is how to. So it might be something like a case switch where if so, like a switch condition 1. We'll make our own condition. Switch trail tag. And so usually when I do this case switch, I just make a whole new section and then I put everything in it. Otherwise, you'll have your begins and ends in the wrong place. Okay, so begin, end, and in case of true. So if trail tag is true, then we want to do this thing. And then in case of false, we want to do this other thing. So if it's false, then we're just going to go into this basic area of tracking the orders. And if it's true, then we want to add some type of tag to the orders. I think I'm getting the idea here. All right, let's do a trail tag. All right, so trail tag, if trail tag is true, then like I said, we want to, as we're, yeah, there we go. Okay, so I think this might work. No. Yeah, I think it might work. All right, let's see. Let's, So we're gonna do the same thing for this true trailing situation as we had for the false trailing situation. We're gonna have a paste there. And then what we're going to do is, not only are we going to, or I guess we could just do it here. So single order dot. That's right. That's what I thought. We don't have a tag for orders, because, and now I could change the name. I could change the order name. But as I understand, in talking with the some of the senior programmers and the tech support with TradeStation, they were saying that if you change the name for the orders, then that will affect how well the system is able to manage the orders. So let me show you here. So when you're looking at again, we're on the sim count here, but when you're looking at your orders here in the system, hang on. All right, when you're looking at your orders in the system here, you see under advanced and triggered by group name. And then if you put an order name, then I think the name comes up here, but apparently the way that orders being entered and canceled and replaced, and how you keep track of your bracket orders, all of this stuff is really dependent on the order name. So if you change your order name, then it may impact how well these brackets and the cancel replaces happen. And so, like I said, that's a good way to be able to keep track of whether or not you want to tag your orders or trail your orders or something like that. But I got to come up with a different way, because I don't want to negatively impact how well TradeStation can keep track of the orders when I do want to trail or cancel or replace. So is there another way to tag this? Let's just pull up the general information here. Activation rules, account ID, average field. So we want to see, is there anything that we can set that we can add some type of information to the order? I think, yeah. Not seeing anything. I mean, well, I wouldn't want to do that. So we could have it set to where if we put in an order and then we would change a flag, we would change the trail flag at that point. I guess that could work, because then as long as we are in a position, that flag will stay on. And then if the new condition happens, then we will trail. That would work. I want it to be a little bit more nuanced. I want it so that the trail is attached. The trail flag is attached to the actual order that entered, which let me keep thinking. All right, let's see. Get the type of application that generated the order. Okay, I didn't know that this was a thing. This is cool to know, though. Generating application, because yeah, very good. Okay, automation, chart trading, because this is something that if any of you guys know that I do have, I've got an algo that I've been working on quite a bit here, and it is up to, I don't know, I haven't done much with it in the last week or two, but it's about 2,500 lines of code. A lot of it is, well, not a lot of it, but there's some of it that has to do with the form that's created. But that being said, I have this protection here so that I can turn this protection off so that I can go and make manual trades. But now if I have this protection turned on, then this algo will prevent me from doing certain things manually trading that I want it to do. And so I have this. But what I could do is just say I might only, using that trade generated enumeration, wherever it was, this generating application enumeration, I can use that to only put a protection on orders placed from my algo. So that's good to know. So that's something that I can take to my next scripts. But for right now, let's see, single order dot advanced options. Is there anything I can do to add something there? Advanced options, I don't think so. Average field price, child. single order, single order. Like I say, order name. I could do order name and make it equal to something, but I really don't want to do that. And again, like for your order tickets, you can have tag text to your tickets. See the order ticket here. You go down, you can have tag text to your tickets, which is it's kind of helpful there. Let's see what happened here. It's kind of helpful for tag tickets, but it's not. The order ticket doesn't transfer to the actual order. So I need to have a way that the order can have some type of tag, which I'm just nothing's coming to mind. If any of you guys can think of anything, let me know. We can try that. But again, the reason why I want to associate it with an order is because say we get our algo to put us in an order, right? Say our algo puts us in an order. And then after the algo puts us in an order, then we come in and we put in a manual order ourselves, right? So if the algo has us in and we're in under this order, and say this position here gets canceled and then another random position comes in, I wouldn't want, let me make that a buy. Nope, I already got taken. All right. So say we're already in a position here, and then we come in and we put in another buy. Now we're 2 in, which my algo probably flattened. Yeah, see, my algo flattened position size due to position size too large. Again, and there's obviously another protection that's still on with this algo that is not controlled by this protection checkbox. So I need to check into that. But like I said, if one position got stopped out and another position got on, I just want to make sure that the algo is not confused as to which position needs to be trailed. Or if I have multiple algos on, I need to make sure that the algo is not confused as to which position needs to be trailed if we come in or out of another position. So okay, got it. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to and I don't know how well this will work. This will be my first time working through this, but what we'll do is we'll use a token list. So the token list will keep track of the order IDs, right? So instead of tagging this, we're going to kind of do a reverse order. Instead of assigning a trail tag to the order, we're going to say, okay, well, let's take the order and assign it order assigned to a collection. The collection will be a token list. The token list will be, all right, let's see how that works. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come up here. We're going to have a token list uses tsdata.common. So we're going to have a token list, t-list. I just keep it simple, especially when I'm doing, when I'm kind of working on brainstorming applications, brainstorming scripts. I don't get too, I try not to get too bogged down in the weeds with making it look very pretty and having, all this kind of syntax to be perfect. I just get it done. All right. If I want to keep it, then I'll go back and I'll clean it up later. And I know some people will say that is not the way, Eric, but that is the Eric way. That might not be the way, Eric, but that's the Eric way. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to say tlist dot add. We're going to add if it's false, then we don't need to add it to our list. Okay. So if it's true, then we're going to come up here and add it. Tlist add single order dot order ID. Okay, so we're going to add the order ID dot string. We're going to add that to our token list. And now this token list will be essentially a list of our trailing orders. T trail. Now we can clear this list at any time, but right now we just need to add our order IDs to the list. Okay, so what we're going to do is after we send our order and we've said that trail tag will be true, then we're going to print what's in the token list. Okay, so we're going to print at the bottom. So print ttrail.value string. Okay, so we're going to come down here and we don't need to print all this other stuff anymore. We just did that to show you that it works. So t value to string. So we don't need to print the order ticket information. All right, so we're going to come back over here. We're going to re-verify that. All right, true, case, true, trail tag, switch begin. All right, so we actually don't even have anything for a trail tag, but why did this give us an issue? Case, true, trail tag should be a string. This should be a string. Okay, so we're going to say trail tag is equal to true. Let's do that once. All right, come back over here, turn it on. Oh, let's see, trail tag equals true. I'm sorry. Come back. Oh, what are we doing here? Trail tag. Yeah, okay, well, let's do that as a Boolean. I'm sorry. Instead of making this a string, let's do this as true. I'll make this false. And come back up here. This will be false Boolean. Okay. All right. All right, so now I went ahead and put us into a position, and we should have our trailing stop on both sides. Now, it didn't print out our token, our order ID. Let's see, print ttrail.value.toString. But trail tag should have been true. So trail tag being true, going to track orders. Track orders is actually sending our order. And with trail tag being true, it should have added trail, the order ID. You know what it is? So you don't actually have an order ID until the order has been, this is part of, for me, why I've, why I don't want to say for me, but I think in general, just TradeStation, EasyLanguage. I mean, I know it's supposed to be easy. It's built for traders, that kind of thing, but it's not the easiest, right? I mean, it still takes time. So you see over here where you have your orders and that kind of thing. So if we go to orders, when you have your order in, your order ID comes up after the order has been sent out to TradeStation. As I understand, when your order is being sent out to TradeStation, you don't have an order ID yet. But when it's received by TradeStation, now you have an order ID, right? So in order for us to try to assign our order ID here, once it's sent, like this is the very early stages, it's just been sent. So now we're attaching this good stuff to it. So here at this stage in the game, it doesn't have an order ID yet. So because we're just assigning the parameters and we're still kind of building what we want our single order to look like, we can add the order ID once it's been updated, once it has an order ID. So I think in my head right off, the problem is going to be making sure that you don't assign that but once, right? So this here needs to go up here. And since we've already used temp order here is what was the args. So whatever order the argument has been updated, we're going to assign that temporarily to our temp order. So we can just say here the temp order dot order ID dot to string. Now remember, let's see. Now the problem that I can see here is, even though we might have to use a different order, updated order, right? Because both of these, whether or not we have a true trailing tag or a false trailing tag, they're both going to go to order updated. And if they both go to order updated and we're assigning the order ID to the token list trail, then we're essentially just going to have all of our orders in this token list trail. And we only want the orders in the token list trail that where we have a true trail tag. So this one might need to be like order updated, order not trail, order, we'll just try to keep it simple. And this one would just be order updated, and then this one will be order trail updated. Okay, so we're just going to copy and paste this. Get rid of that. And this will be trail. I think that's what I wrote down there. We don't need this in here. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do is, now that we have a token list trail here, temporary order ID string. All right. So now whatever comes in here will get updated with the order ID tag sent to the token list trail. And right now, I think that this is fine. I'm wondering, will I run into some situations where, no, I just really wanted everything to be in the same order. So right now, that's not an issue. But after we do, like I said, this will be hit multiple times. When this is updated, it'll be hit multiple times. And we don't want to add this order ID but once. So what do? All right, so one of the things that you can do is you can just search in the token list. Now this is something that I haven't done, I don't think, ever. So we're going to see. Now one of the ways that you can search through the token list is using an index and going through a loop. But I think you can search in a token list. So if ttrail dot, it's not. Well, let me see. Ttrail dot, see, it does have a contains. Very good. If it contains temp order dot order ID dot to string, we're just going to put if it doesn't contain it. If it doesn't contain it, then we're going to add it. Okay. And otherwise, we don't need to do anything. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do now is, and then once, print what's in that token list, so we can verify that we did get the order ID added to the token list. If it doesn't contain it, then Oh, we got something. Oh, it flattened our position. Again, that is our algo that's flattening our position because it tried to put a new position on. So note two things. When I started this thing up, you didn't see it said, you didn't see it say that we got a new order on, and the new order had, was of type trail, so it printed out the trailing token list. It didn't print the order out for the trailing token list, even though an order went in. It didn't say that we got an order ID. Why? Because even though it went in, it was canceled right away, and TradeStation, the server and everything, was never able to issue an order ID because it was smacked very quickly. So what we need to do probably is turn off our algo and retry it. Or since we just have one position on, we should be able to do it like this. It should work now. But again, the algo is set up to where if you have more than the max position size on, then it'll just flatten everything, because apparently you don't know what's going on. So you need to reset. All right, so I'm gonna hit not a buy. We're gonna restart the script. So you see we went in, we got our bracket for our stop and our limit. But now I would expect to see the order ID show up now, or at least if we move it. Nope. All right, so the token list must not have anything in it. Let's see. All right, so trail is equal to new token list. Once we're going to set trail tag is equal to true, and that should be intrabar persist. Yep, trail tag is intrabar persist. All right, and then we're going to come down here. We're going to go ahead and use the track orders method, which sends our order, but then at the same time sends a case switch, a switch block that that is switched by the trail tag. So if this is true, then we should come into this block, which assigns each order in the group, each order in the group, to single order. And then let's see, single order is assigned the order of the index of the group to here. And then so we're adding the updated event for an event handler of order trail updated in the case of being true. So when we go to order trail updated, it should come to here. Okay. And then we have a temporary order. And that is the holding place for our argument order as type order. And so if we don't have, if the token list trail does not contain, whenever we do an updated event, if the token list trail doesn't contain this temporary order ID, then we want to add temporary order ID to string, and then we always want to print. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to do another simple print, because for some reason it doesn't feel like we're even coming into this updated event space. Order trail updated. It doesn't feel like we're coming into this block. Print one. All right, so all right, let's go and turn it off, turn it back on. All right, so we're getting plenty of ones, so we are coming into this space, right? We're coming into this block. All right, but we're not printing anything from the tokenless trail. Now, the other thing about this is I don't know that I've ever used this search function for contains. So I may not be using it properly, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. So what we're going to do is we're just going to print temp order dot order ID dot to string, and just make sure that something is printing there, something is pulling. Okay, so we are getting order IDs, right? So if we're getting order IDs, then it should be adding to our token list. So that shouldn't be that complicated. So let's get this back out of here. With the exception of, like I said, we must not be using the contains component of the token list properly. Contains name true if the list contains an item with a specified string value. Okay, yeah. I mean that's pretty straightforward. Temp order dot order ID dot to string. If it doesn't contain it, then we're going to add that. Okay, so what I'll do instead then is instead of printing the what should be in the token list, let's once print how much is in, how many things are in the token list. All right, we're going to clear this. Okay, 0 things are in there. All right, so, but we know that we are getting order IDs. We know we're getting order IDs, so there should be more than 0 things in here. Somehow we're not adding to our token list. So, any way to get in front of that? Any way to make that happen? If it doesn't, all right, I'm gonna try this. I'm just gonna add it. Now, if I just add it, then it should technically add it multiple times. As many times these orders are updated, it should add it multiple times. And so we should get a count like, I don't know, if like 15 or 16, or we got 3 orders going in. It's sent, received, and maybe filled. So that's 3 times 3, 3, 9. Okay, and we got a 0. Okay, let's try something a little less clever. Token list dot add. We're just going to add my name. Okay, and now we did get 1, right? So it is capable of adding information, and we know that we know that the order ID exists, so we have that information. So why isn't it adding it to the token list? If args.order ID exists, then print args.order ID. Temp order. Args.order, if temp order dot order ID dot to string is not blank, then print whatever it is. And print whatever it is. Okay. All right, so it's working. So we do have order IDs that are not blank, and so we're printing the order ID. Okay, so if they, let's take it one step further. We're gonna make that into a block, which prints it as well as should add it. To the token list. ttrail.add temp order ID.toString. Simple, right? Okay, all right, and then after it adds it, then we're going to print the count that's in the token list. And it's still printing 0. How is it that I'm having a hard time adding stuff to the token list when this is a string? Because if I add Eric multiple times, still getting 0. Well, oh, we printed this once, so we need to allow that to print as many times. Okay, so we got 2, 4, 8, 10, 12. Okay, so you see it's going up. All right, so let's get rid of the Eric part, and then we'll just check. All right, close that out. Okay, so we do have them now. Okay, so the orders are being added. They didn't, or maybe it's only because we printed once. So yeah, probably it's like I told you before. Like I said, when I printed this once, it essentially printed the, when we went through this block and we got to the end of this block, it did this once print. Now it can't do this print again, right? But the first time that the order comes through this block, it probably does not have the order ID. So as it's coming through the block and we're saying add the order ID, well, there's nothing in the order ID to add, so it doesn't add anything. Gets down to the print statement, prints a total count of 0, and then when it comes back through on the second time around after sending the order, now it's received. Now it does have an order ID, and it's been added to the token list of the trail. However, we've already done our once print, and so now we can't print again. Good. All right, so I think we got it. Plus, I think this is a better way of doing it. Just saying that if we do have an order ID, then add it, and then we don't have to worry about trying to run this block or run this line if we don't have it. All right, so if we don't have an order ID, so we need to just move this down as well. The conditional statement that just says if we don't have the order ID already in the token list, then we want to add it. And that's cleaner. All right. Then we can just print what's in the token list every time we add a new order ID. So we should only have 3 order IDs, one for the entry, one for the profit target, and one for the stop loss. So we should only have 3. So this should probably only print 3 times. It'll print once with the first order ID. The second time will include one of the stop loss or the target, and then so forth and so on. I believe that's what we should get. We shouldn't get any more than 3 though, unless we move the order and it gives us a new order ID. I don't know if it does that or if it just replaces the ticket. So we're going to do ttrail.value.toString. Oh man, I'm always learning something new with this programming. There we go. Okay, so the first time that it ran, it gave us our one of our orders. We don't know if it's the entry, the profit target, or the stop loss. And then the second time it ran, it added a new order ID. And then the third time it ran, it gave us another ID. All right, so now what we need to do, because we technically don't need to be trying to move a stop on at least for a trailing stop, we don't need to be moving a profit target, a target profit target. God almighty. All right, we're moving the stop loss. So we need to look for the order that has the stop loss, not the order that has the limit order. Okay, so instead of adding all these orders, let's only add the one that has a stop price. Okay, so if temporary order dot ID temp order dot order ID to string exists and temp order dot order dot stop price is greater than 0, which means that it has a stop price. Otherwise, it would have a limit price. If it has a stop price and it's greater than 0, then we're going to add it. Okay, so now when we do it, we should only get one of these. All right, so let's close this. And that. All right, it already did it. See? All right, so our order ID here, we only got one order ID here, and that is our protection order. Man, honestly, this is a program that it's been in my head for about 2 weeks, maybe more, and I knew it was going to take some getting through it, and I kind of almost didn't want to do it. I mean, I don't know that I almost didn't want to do it, but I knew it would be a bit of a beast, so I've been avoiding it for a while. I'm glad that I finally got here, and yeah, so we've got some resolution. All right, so our order here is 9757. That's the one that is now, it's the only one in our token list, and it's the one that has our stop order. You see 9757, our stop order is down here at 6481.25. Let's go to our orders just for confirmation, 6481.25. Okay. Orders 57 right here. 6481.25. Where is the price at? Let's see. Go to messages. No. Orders. Go to all. Oh, here we go. All right, so 9757, this one right here, number 3. We're looking for 6481.25. I believe it's the number. 6481.25, right? So that, again, that's the order that out of the bracket order here between this one and this one here is our stop order, 6481.25. All right, and we capture that beautifully. We got the order ID here. We got the order ID. All right, so now that we know that that is our order that's been tagged by the trailing stop, we said that yes, if the condition when we took this order also allows it to be a trailing order if certain conditions are met, then we'll say we'll have something that says, all right, well, if we get 2 bars into the future, so we're going to have a count bars. It's going to start at 0. I know most of you guys are like, all this programming is not even worth it. But I promise you, just trying to explain it is taking way longer than it is to actually program it. So it's not that bad. All right, so count bars. So if we're at the last bar on the chart, then count bars plus equal to 1. And because I think the chart is interbar, the analysis technique is interbar persist, let's make sure that the bar status of 1 equals 2. So we're on the final tick of a bar, then count bars plus equal to 1. All right, so in that case, count bars, whenever we take a position, count bars should be 1. So if we get another 1, 2 bars into the future, then we're going to activate that that trailing stop. So if count bars equals 3, then X trail stop. Count bars equals 3, and I mean we could have another condition here. It would be something that just says that we have a position on. I don't want to go and add this, but I think it makes sense. Positions provider, PP, accounts, no filter there, symbols, no filter there, load, true. Okay, so if count bars equals 3, and we do have a position on, and PP dot try position of symbol and account, whatever symbol we're on the chart, and get account ID equals true. I think it returns null, right? So if it's not null, then X trail stop. Now what is X trail stop going to be? Method void X trail stop. It's just going to say we're going to take whatever's in that token list, and we're going to ask if whatever's in the token list, if that order, I mean, so now we need one more. We need a orders provider that checks to make sure that the orders has not been filled. When our order goes on and we've got to stop sitting on the block. This stop here is in the received position. It's not in the field position. This order here, this entry order, it's already been filled. So this will be in a field state. All right. This order down here will be in a receive state. So we're going to have a orders provider, which is going to be a collection of orders. And we're going to call it orders received. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and load it. And then for filters, the states, we're going to put receive, if I can spell it correctly. Yep. Okay, so receive. Now orders, I don't have a list of orders that I can put in here. But let's see. That might be a good way to do that, because then I imagine that the filters are true filters, and so the list of the token list we could put in here. Oh yeah, that's perfect. We could put the token list in here of the trailing orders that we are accumulating, and then it will be cross filtered or cross referenced with whether or not it's in the receive position. And if it's both a trailing a trailing order type, if it's an order that's in the trailing token list and it's in the received state and it hadn't been filled, then it will be sitting in this order's pocket. So that'll be perfect. So T-trail. That is a token list, so I don't know why you don't like it. Okay, well, we got to figure out something else then, because this is a type token list. So we're going to do orders received dot orders. All right. So we'll do a once. So because this is orders received, it's out of the toolbox. It should be included in the designer generated code, which is run at the beginning of your program. So we could put that in. We could put this update here in the once block that just says orders received dot orders plus equal T-trail. I think that will work fine here. Nope. Cannot convert parameter one from token list to string. Well, you said you needed it to be well, we're not adding one at a time. It's just a token list. So you're just making it equal to it. Okay, good. All right. If last x then bar status 1 equals 2, then count bars. Okay. All right. So let's keep going. All right. So no errors there. We did get an error here. The value of the property orders can only be changed while the provider is in the closed state. Really? All right. Well, so that means that every time that we send an order, we need to close the orders provider and then assign the token list and then open it back up. Okay. So we're going to take this, we're going to cut it. We're going to go up here. And then, like I said, after we add this, if we do have a new order to add to the trailing list, then we need a block. We don't need a print, but we do need a block. All right, so we need to close the orders provider. Orders receive dot load is equal to false, and then we're going to add this new information to the token list, and then we're going to update the list, the orders list to the new token list, and then we're going to load it back up again. Boom. Orders I received dot load is equal to true. Okay, so now that we got that in place, now we got to go back to where we were. Where were we? We're saying that if we're 3 bars in and we do have a position on, then X trail stop. What are we doing when we get to X trail stop? We need to say, and I guess we could, now this you could modify it to however you want, because right now we're just taking an order and we're replacing it. So if you have multiple orders that you need to replace because you have a stage situation or a pyramid type of strategy, then you need to use some type of loop. Or if you don't and you're just doing this basic thing, then you could just use a temporary order. And I'm taking the temporary order and I'm saying that because we only have one order in this token list, we're going to say that the orders, well, we need to make sure that there is something in that. We need to make sure there is something in that orders received bucket, if you will, collection. So if orders received dot count is greater than 0, then begin. We're going to take whatever's in that orders received at 0, just because, like I said, I know that we only have one order to work with. We're just going to do this. But if you have multiple orders, then you use a loop and you change all the ones that you needed to. Temporary order equals orders received of 0 index, because, like I said, that's the only one that we have. As type order, and then we're going to replace the ticket. So now we're going to do temp order dot replace, and then we're going to replace it with what? RT, with the replace ticket. But before we do that, we need to update some of the information on this replace ticket. We're going to say that the replace ticket dot and I'm not, again, this is something I'm kind of working into here more recently, so I'm not that familiar with replace tickets. I do know that you typically will only change the thing that you need to change, whether it be the price. If this ticket here, you just assume that this ticket here stays the same. And the only thing that you change on your replace ticket is what needs to change on this ticket. So if what we need to change on this ticket happens to be the price, then you just change the price. You just change the stop price. But because this was if we want to do it as a limit order, not a limit order, but a parent plus order, I don't think you can do it as a parent plus, because I think you essentially lose the parent when you're working with this replace ticket. You essentially lose like the parent connection. So that would probably take some other searching through orders to find what the order ID and the order price is of the parent and do the calculations, but I don't think you can do it as a parent plus. So let's try it. RT dot stop price offset. Stop price offset will be equal to, let's make it, I think this was a -16 offset, which is 4 points on ES futures. So let's do a 4-point offset. So that should bring your stop up to just 1 point below. So we're going to do that. So we've changed just the stop price offset, temp order dot replace with replace ticket. Verify. Okay, we're going to close this out, and then we're just going to open it back up. So now we're here. Now we're looking for 3 bars. That should be 45 seconds worth. Let's just chop that down because I'm impatient. So now put us into a new position. Of course, our algo, smack that down. It flattened the position. Okay, so now we're in again. Okay, so now once we get 3 bars in, it should be doing something. It should move this stop up to here. But like I said, I don't think this stop price offset will do it. I think you have to use some other calculations, and it's not doing it. Okay, but we also don't know if the rest of this stuff worked either, right? Our orders received, we don't know if we actually have that order in the orders received bucket. You know, we don't know if that stuff worked out. So let's first things first, let's see if on every bar, if last X, and tell you what, we'll just add it here. So we're just going to check to see if we have anything in that orders provider, in this orders provider, orders received collection. Let's see what the count is. Print orders received dot count. All right, so we're going to do that on the end of every bar. All right, and in the meantime, like I said, I was pretty sure that this didn't work. So what we're going to do, instead of using the price offset, we're just going to put in the price itself, and we'll work backwards from there. We'll make some calculations as we need to. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to set this stop price to 64.85. RT dot stop price equals 64.85. All right, so stop verify there. Let's close this. Let's clear this out. We're going to open it back up, and boom. So we have our entry. Okay. So this already gave us a 1. So it is carrying the order. Oh, good job. It moved it. Okay, very good. All right, but I saw that blink a few times, so I'm thinking that is moving it every time. I'm thinking it's like putting in a new order, putting in a new, like on every tick, it's putting in a replace ticket. So let's just close this. And then we need to make sure that we're only putting it in one time. So if count bar is equal to 3 in position, then X-trail stop. All right, so we need to have a flag to send this trail stop once. If count bars is equal to 3, okay, it would have only done it on that one bar because count bars was equal to 3 on that one bar. So count bars is equal to 3, but because it is I think it's an inch-bar persist. Yeah, it's inch-bar persist. So we had multiple ticks on that one bar, and for every tick that we had on there, it was sending a new order. So we need to just do this on the final tick, at least for what we're trying to do right now. We just do this on the final tick. So if last X and bar status from 1 is equal to 2, then we can just add this right in to that block. So if our count bars is equal to 3 and we're on that final tick, then we'll just do it one time. Okay, so we're going to verify that. Boom. We should get 3 bars in. I think that's the first bar, and then that's the second bar. Now when we get this third bar in, it's going to move it's actually going to move our stop up. Right, so it moved it up. It only did that replace ticket one time, so that's perfect. And now this should still be set up to a bracket, right? This bracket should still be connected to this order, even though we did a replace ticket. So let's see what happens as price moves back toward this order. This was a little bit of a clever way to accomplish what we were trying to accomplish. So I like it. Like I said, I would have loved if we could have used tag text, but we found a way around it. All right, come on, pull back. You know you like to pull back. Well, I mean, technically we can move this order up because even though it was a replace ticket, anytime you move an order, it's always a replace ticket. So we just want to know that this is still connected properly with the limit target. And then once we satisfy our curiosity there.
Order rejected.
I moved it too fast, moved it too close. Too close to the market. All right, so let's try this again. And then we'll just do one more thing to work on, like the parent plus part. All right, should move it to like 64.85. Yep, moved it up, perfect. So I'm gonna move it to right there. See, like I said, we're just trying to make sure that the OCO part is working properly of this bracket. Come on. While that's setting up, the next idea here would be to do the RT stop price, if we want to set it relative to our entry, then I know you can do average entry price on your strategy. I don't know if it works for a it might be a strategy reserved word. I don't know that it works for order tickets and studies. Let me change the average entry price for open trades. Yeah, well, so maybe it will work for this study as well, instead of just a strategy. Come on, man. Any other time I'm trying to trade, it always hits my orders. I mean, you know, my stops. Now it acts like it doesn't want to hit the stop. So we're going to do average. We're just going to move the order up to the entry, essentially. So again, when we get into a position, once we get 3 bars in, this is set to move our stop up to our entry. So moving us up to break even. Are you serious? Not pulling back? Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. It looks like we are. Oh, I see now. I see. It's either about to blast through or it's going to pull back again. Come on. I mean, I'm only asking you to pull back a little bit. I think this is it. If you see here that there it goes. Okay, very good. So it worked just as we expected. So it took out our stop, and that bracket for the target was taken out as well. So that order OCO, that bracket is intact. One cancels other. All right, so you see here that red there, that just means that we are in the same, we're in a news block. Yeah, and it was actually the news block from the drop of PPI. That being said, like I said, you see how that follows across. It touched, it reacted there, touched here. This is the third touch, so I expect that it'll do something a little funky. All right, let's get that out of here, and then let's go to our last change. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and so you see here, position information function is not allowed in a study. All right, so it's only used in a strategy. So we need to find out what the entry price is. There are some other reserve words that you can use for finding the entry price or finding the current P&L and that kind of thing, but it works for strategies. So in order for us to find the entry price, our current entry price, there is one called entry price. Number of positions ago. I got a feeling that's for strategies also, but let's try it. Only allowed in a study. I mean a strategy. Yep. So that one won't work either. So we could use position order provider. You know what? I don't know what the best one to use is for this. I don't know which one is the best to use for this. Position provider. Position provider dot. We'd have to try the position first. So let's just go ahead and do that. If orders received, well, we know that before we are even allowed to come in and trail stop, we've already made sure that we do have a position on. So we can forego that if we want to. PP dot. Let's see if we can grab it from data. Data. The position with the specified index in the collection. We'll just say 0 because it is the position that we currently have. We only have one position on, so I mean you can use try position, find the index, and go about it that way. But PP, I didn't know we could create a closing ticket from here under position provider. Total cost, symbol type, required margin, position ID, profit loss per quantity. Okay, percent profit loss. Okay, original costs. All right, open P&L. Market value, initial margin, extended, big point value, average price. I think average price is what we're looking for. That's if you want to break even. Let's see, what other circumstances could I see average price not working for you? If you have multiple positions in, then you are typically looking for the average price. But if you do want to know, if you put multiple orders on, and say one order down here was for 5 shares, this order up here was for 1 share, your average entry price would be somewhere down here. But say you actually just wanted to bring your break even stop up to where that 5 order share was, I think that you will have to use some order IDs and that kind of thing to find out exactly where you are. So that's going to be a video that I do maybe tomorrow, because I do want to be able to identify the entry price for the order that the entry price for the order of a certain order. Let's see. Trying to figure out, because I think that would just require more code, because if you had a entry order with 5 shares and then you had another order with 1 share, you need to be able to differentiate one from the other. So you might use an orders provider where you looked at all the open orders and you said, hey, give me the one with the most shares and give me that entry price. And now the only other thing about that is, like, what is the entry price? Is the entry price is it a stop where if you got in with a market order, or is a limit where you got in with a limit order? So, but even if you got in with a limit order, your entry price may very well not be the limit order, the limit price. So maybe it's something under orders provider. Maybe it's something under orders provider. If we are in the field state, like I said, at this point, it would be field because it would be an order that where did the rest of my stuff go? Oh, probably over here. It would be an order that would be field because it would be your entry order. So it would already be field. So orders field. And then let that be true. Orders field counts. orders field. Orders field. Orders field. The only other thing I could think of would be using the parent order. Let's see. Oh, good God. What was that? Oh, okay. The parent order. So make the stop price this temporary order here. This is the order for our stop. Remember, it's the one for below. Now that stop is a part of a bracket order. So I think the bracket order, the stop at the bottom, the limit at the price, those are siblings. I think the parent to the stop order would be the order sends order. Or maybe it would be the order ticket. The order ticket is maybe parent to the bracket order, because it was primary and this was secondary. So let's try that. Let's see if we can get away with that. Let's see if we can say the stop price will be the temp order dot parent. And how many parents does it have? I know you have to use an index here. It should only have one dot average field price. Bam, is that it? Verify. Oh, that's it. That's it. All right, so 3 bars in, it should move our stop up to 6 or 64.85, so it actually take it down. Nope, we got an error here. Argument index and call to property legs is invalid. All right, so this parent is, the index is wrong. But it should not have, there should only be one parent, right? Yeah, I can't see that being any other way. So I don't think that's going to solve my problem. Parent. There's the OSO parent ID. Could we use that ID in the orders? Use that ID in the orders collection. Temp order. I mean, what I'm thinking about would be something like orders field dot order of temp order dot parent or OSO parent ID dot to string dot average field price. So this would be taking the in theory, this would be taking the OSO, the order since order parent ID, getting the ID to string. Now this is the OSO parent ID of the temp order, getting it to a string and taking that order ID and then using that in the orders field, in the orders field orders provider, and it should say that it's field. It shouldn't say received or anything like that. It should say it's filled, and then getting the average field price because that has been filled at that point. Let's see how that one works. All right, I hope that's it because my brain is starting to get a little twisted. All right, again, after 3 bars in, it should take our stop price back down to 64.85. No, actually, should take it to break even. If this works right.
Order rejected.
You know what? I think that worked, but it didn't stick because it was so close to the market. So the market is going to have to move away from this entry price in order for us to be able to get our replace ticket right here. It's going to reject it again.
Order rejected.
All right, let's try it again. But I think we got it.
Order rejected.
Okay, come on. Stop messing with me. We just need to get some type of spike. Either that or I'm gonna move this 3 bars to like 5 bars. Give it more time to move.
Order rejected.
Yeah. All right, I'll tell you what. We'll know if it's about to move. But I tell you what, we'll know the average entry price wherever it's at. If we move our stop to 1 point less than that, then yeah, reject it again.
Order rejected.
Let's move it to 1 point less than that, and then we'll still know whether or not it's giving us the right price. Average fill price -1. All right. All right, so our average fill price here is 91.25, so it should put it at 90.25. If we got it. Yes. All right. That's it. So that's how you access the order since order parent order from any order that you are working with. You just use the OSO parent ID. Because I was trying to use just a parent, which I think that is supposed to work with options and that kind of thing. That's why I was talking about different legs. But I think siblings is brackets, parents is options, child is probably with options also. But either way, we got this thing figured out. We got it figured out. Okay, so obviously you can move this multiple times if you need to, just based on your conditions, based on your logic, the syntax. But we had to use a lot to get this accomplished. So again, as long as I've been playing around with programming with EasyLanguage, this is something that's been in my head for a while, and I still need to synthesize it. Even though I went through it with you guys, I still need to really synthesize it so that I can add it to my programs. One of the things I've been working on more recently is trying to create more strategies, and in creating more strategies, I feel like it's not as simple as getting an entry, putting a profit, and putting a stop. I'm wanting to manage my position. And in order to manage my position, whether or not it's moving up my stop or trailing a stop or something like that, I need to be able to actually put flags for trails. Not all entries I want to trail. Some entries I do want to go in and be a hard stop, hard take profit. But for the ones I do want to have a trailing stop, I need to be able to manage and verify whether or not I can, should, and how I'm, trailing the stop or moving the stop. So the last thing that we want to do here for the replace ticket would be to make a trailing stop amount would be Let's make it 1 point. 1 point. See how that works. Okay, so after 3 bars, it should move our trailing. It should give us a replace ticket that is a trailing stop of 1 point. I think that's right. I know trailing stop can either do percent or points. And I think you have to tell it which one to do though. It might be default by points also. All right, I'm not seeing it do anything. So let's double check trailing stop. It's like type, trailing stop. I think trailing stop, I think we have to do something with that. I think we have to tell it what type it is. Trailing stop, enumeration, right? Sets the type of behavior, so we need to set it to points. So it's probably default to off, so we need to set it to 1, and this is of trailing stop behavior enumeration. So let's write it out, which EasyLanguage coach will be, he would approve of. So trailing stop behavior dot points. Like I said, even though points might have been 1 or it might have been 2, if we just put the number here, 1 or 2, then when you come back and when you look at this, you won't understand that it's points. You have to go back to the dictionary and look it up and say, oh, it's points. So this way is a lot cleaner. All right, so we're going to close this, come back, re-verify. And now, like I said, 3 bars in, we should have a trailing stop move us to a 1 point stop. Trailing stop. And now that should have been it. I think that one should have been it. That was 3 points. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, very cool. Now I'm going to let this run some later to see how it behaves, because if I'm not mistaken, I've seen the way that these trailing stops, it will put the stop in here and it will actually trail it, but you won't see it move on the chart. So it's like it's trailing it now, but you won't see this price move here. And so now the best price is 89.50, so 88.50 should be the trail. 88.50 somewhere in here should be the trail. So we're just waiting to see what happens first. All right, it got up to what? 89.75, so 88.75 is the trail, so right in here. Okay, so it's steadily trying to stay above that 1 point mark. And now it cut through it. So, or I guess technically it would be down here, right here, 75. So, because if anything, it would have touched it right then, not gone through it. Yeah, that is 75, and down here is 75. So it didn't technically go through it. So let's see. Good progress today. All right. So it went through at that time. So again, even though it moved it up, the trailing, I hope it's not that way. Where if you're doing a trailing stop, you have to apply it, reapply it for every tick or every tick or every bar. You have to move this yourself. So I'll have to play around with trailing stops and the behavior there, but clearly that's what we told it. We told it trailing stop this many points. So I mean, that would just, if that were the case though, that would just require more flags, and then you just say, all right, well, if we are trailing a stop on a flag, then we just apply that new price, that new ticket multiple times. I don't know. I don't like that. To me that doesn't make sense. But clearly that's how it must work here. Like I said, 3 bars in, we should have a trailing stop behavior points, trailing stop amount 1. Yep, they moved it up from 88.25, or wherever it was, 88 to 87. Trailing stop type. Maybe I need to change the type. Order type. Limit market, stop limit market, unknown. Nope. Trailing stop behavior. Stop, trailing stop value. We've worked with that. Touch, price of touch. No, I think that's the best we're going to do with trailing. So let's see. We just have something called trail true. And it's going to start off at being false. And then so if we come into here, then trail true is equal to true. And if trail true is equal to true, then we're going to grab this trailing information. We want to set the trail true. We've got to hold this well, we don't need this price anymore because now we're just we do need temp order though. We do need temp order because that's what we're replacing it with. So let me see. X trail true, and we're going to send over the order, which is temp order, and we're going to send over the replace ticket. Can we do that? I don't know. We're about to learn something new. And so we wouldn't replace this right away. And we've already assigned information for the trailing behavior and the trailing stop amount. So we're just sending over that ticket that's already been built. We're sending over this order. And so then on every bar, and this should only happen once, but then on every tick, we will X trail true. And we need to have temp order is going to be order temp Z order, and then replace ticket is ZRT. And then because this is going to happen, let me see. We don't necessarily need to send this right away, or we can, but we could send this one time, and then the rest of the time this will be controlled by a statement down here that says if that flag is true, if trail true, then X trail true. And what is in here at this point? That point, we need to have a module level that holds this module level variable that holds this order and this replace ticket. In my head, it works. I mean, sounds like a lot. I think it is a lot. Might be another way to do it, and time will tell. As I get better, I'll have better ideas, I'm sure, or more succinct ideas. All right, so trail. So we need to have an order. This trail order, and then we need to have a replace ticket. That's trail RT. Trail order and trail RT. And then so this will be trail order will be our temp order. And then trail RT will be our RT. And then we can go ahead and send this for the first time. And so it should do our first update. And then at that point, trail true is equal to true. So when we come back out of that method and we're on a subsequent tick, trail true, if trail true is equal to true, then X trail true. And then we're going to send trail order and trail RT because they're module level, but they've been assigned and given and built here and here. Okay, so at that point, we just really do a simple z order dot replace with ZRT. I think that's it. Verify. All right, let's see how she runs. All right, so like I said, 3 bars in, now we should actually trail on every tick. But that can't be right, because once you move the trail, see how it's moving now? So it's moving up fine, but it shouldn't come back down. So You see how it came back down right then? So we're putting in a bunch of tickets, and it's it's steadily keeping the order 1 point away from where we are, which is not how trailing orders supposed to work. So it's doing what we told it to do, and we were able to figure out the syntax, we were able to figure out the logic to make that work. But somehow trailing stop's supposed to behave different from that, I think. So I'll play with that over the next day or so, and hopefully I have something to come back to you to talk about trailing stops here tomorrow. All right, guys. I know I accomplished a lot. I hope anybody might have joined in and held on to learn a little something. But if you did, you didn't. If you're hearing the sound of my voice, be sure to like, subscribe, share this with a loved one. Trade smart, trade true to you. I've been your host. I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace.